Okay, everybody, welcome back to part 3 of this live stream breakup video. And I thought I'd take a little bit of a moment to have a look at, show you guys the map. I've not really looked at the map in this in the first live stream, but I'll show you the area of the map that you own as a start if you start in new farmer mode. And you can see that you do own quite a lot of the map surrounding areas. Very important things like obviously the BGA are given to you at the start. But obviously you get a lot of the map surrounding sort of system. So a lot of the road system around the map is actually given to you, the player. You own it. And the reason for that is if you play this map with seasons, and of course you get into winter and it snows, to be able to clear snow from any sort of land or area, you do need to own it. So if the map author, in this case OD, has enabled snow to fall and settle on the roads, the only way you could clear the snow from the roads would be if you own them. So it's like a bit of a compromise. A lot of the map authors that I've seen release maps that are supposedly seasons ready don't actually allow it to snow on the roads. So the main roads around the map that you could drive on and the AI traffic drives on, snow doesn't settle on those roads, so you don't have to clear it and you don't have to like plough it or spread salt on it. And the reason for that purely and simply is because I don't think those authors know how to make it so that you can own the roads. The road system. There's a couple that do. Obviously County Lines does it, but not that that really matters because again it doesn't actually snow on those roads in County Lines, but you just own them. But anyway, we're going to carry on. We have picked up a cheap little, or well, not cheap little. Well, I suppose it is cheap, isn't it? It's not paying a great deal, only just over £1,000. A little cultivating job over on field 16 on the map, which hopefully shouldn't take me too long to do without starting cultivator. Which, by the way, I can't remember whether I've talked about this in one of the previous 2 videos, because again I'm recording this commentary after the video was recording and after the stream, because unfortunately when I streamed originally I forgot to have my microphone plugged into the computer, so the whole 4 hours that I streamed on Twitch didn't record any audio and no one actually bothered to tell me that they couldn't hear me. But anyway, if I haven't talked about it before now, I will just quickly go over it again. In new farmer mode, you start with this lovely Amazon cultivator. However, if you actually look at it very closely and look at it in the store, you will realise that it requires 400 horsepower to pull it correctly. Which is a bit weird, seeing as the starting tractor you get that OD gives you is a 6M, which is about 140 horsepower, and then he obviously gives you the 8R as well, which is a 290 horsepower tractor. So he gives you a cultivator that you don't really have the machine capable of pulling. Now I'm kind of getting away a bit here because now I'm obviously using a leased 6R, which has 350 horsepower, so that's quite a little bit closer to the actual requirement of the cultivator, but it's still not ideal. Not sure whether that's a bit of an oversight on OD's part, but he's done it a couple of times on these maps. He's done it on Oakfield, he's done it on Marwell Manor as well. He gives you equipment that you can't actually effectively use because you don't have the tractors capable of pulling it. But he's not the only person. I'm not having a dig at him in any way, shape or form. I've seen it on a few maps actually from different sources where the starting equipment you get given in new farmer mode sometimes doesn't actually balance that well. You end up with equipment that you can't pull, or you have noticeable gaps in your equipment. A bit like on this map where you don't have any kind of spreader in your starting fleet, so the first time you load up the map in new farmer mode, you can't actually spread lime or fertiliser on your fields. So that was one of our, that's why I bought the Terrogator. quickly solve that problem, and that was obviously a very expensive fix to that solution. Most people probably would go with a Bradle, maybe something like that. It'd be a little bit cheaper. However, I do like self-driven. I do like self-driven machines. The reason for that being is you're not tying up a tractor then. Starting out, obviously, new farm mode, you only have 2 tractors on this map. To have one, we've already got one tied up with the plough. So to have another one tied up on a spreader means we would then be struggling to get stuff done around the map. I mean, we're going to struggle a little bit anyway with only having 2 tractors, to be perfectly honest. And it's one of the reasons why I'm seriously thinking it may be a wise idea to sell off the harvester. I know people are like, oh, don't sell off the harvester, but it's a lot of money, and it's just sitting in the shed for basically, 3 seasons of the year where it's not going to have any use whatsoever. And if I can get 600 grand back, that can buy a few other little bits and pieces which we can use around the farm, pretty much all the time throughout the year. But anyway, we'll give this a whirl. Like I say, one of the things obviously we would be looking to do at some point is get the old some of the production stuff in, but I'm not really sure where to put it on this map. I haven't really had a chance to have a good look all around the map, but certainly at the starting farm area, I don't really see where we're going to be able to put factory buildings and stuff. If we wanted to start making our own seeds, fertilizers, all that sort of stuff, I don't really know whereabouts we would go for that. So where good placeable areas are on this map. I don't really want to have to get rid of fields if I can help it, and certainly I know people say, well, you've got plenty of grass fields, just stick your buildings on one of them. Yeah, I don't really want to kind of take out the grass buildings, because grass actually turns out to be a very profitable thing if you get the silage. If you get silage going, fairly early in the game, your grass can be very, very profitable. Especially if you can then couple that with a fertilizer maker, so you can use the digestate from the BGA to make some fertilizer. All of a sudden you've got you're a little bit self-sufficient in the fact that you're not having to buy fertilizer for all your machinery, your spreaders, your sprayers, your seeders, and also you can always sell off any excess you've got if you're in desperate need of a cash influx, because obviously fertilizer, big money business. I mean, it's almost got to the stage on most of the maps I play now, in most of, whether it be multiplayer, single player, whatever, it almost gets into the stage most of the time where actually the crops, your wheat, your barleys, oats, soybeans, sunflower, are actually not your main selling focus. Your main selling focus is your seed, your fertilizer, your liquid fertilizer, your diesel. The products you make from those crops becomes your main income. A lot of the time now we only sell crops if we are really, really desperate for a quick input of cash and we've got plenty lying around. But yeah, I just had a quick look at this field, because it's a bit strange that this field, obviously the lady wants it cultivating, but it's a bit weird that she had cotton planted on it when you can't actually, I don't think, plant cotton on this map, or I don't think it's allowed with the geo. I don't think cotton is possible. Another good thing about recording this commentary after the video is that there is now a geo for this map. It's not 100% accurate in terms of geographical location, but there is a new geo that's come out, which is the Oregon geo, which apparently from the team that made it is apparently quite a good fit for this map. Obviously, it's a little bit too late for me to use that geo now because I've already started, and it's such a hassle swapping the geos out and resetting seasons that I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stick with my I think I went for the Montana geo. Again, I have no sense, if you like, of how that differs. You know, I know Oregon is in the upper northwest part of America, up there near Canada and all that place, right up there, you know, with Washington and those sort of places. And when I say Washington, I mean the state of Washington, not the capital city, Washington, D.C. A lot of people get confused by that. There is a state, Washington, and the capital city, Washington, but they are on completely opposite sides of the country. And so I don't know what the difference in climate, weather, and that is between, say, an Oregon and a Montana. I would have thought they wouldn't have been too dissimilar, perhaps. Which is kind of why I ran the Montana one on this map. I certainly wasn't going to use Midwest. That doesn't really fit in with the textures and stuff on this map. Plus, I've used Midwest now on quite a few maps. Like, we're using it on county lines, so I don't really want to use a geode multiple times. And it's like on Fenton Forest, I'm using the, I think it's the Warm Lands geo. Lands. Which is a little bit different. That's a bit of a custom imaginary geo, which is purely designed just to give players who want access to all the crops on a map. So we do get cotton, we do get sugar cane, but, you know, so it's not based on any real world location, that map. Someone's just, the author's just made a geo that gives you every crop. You can basically plant and grow every crop, you know, but it gives you the full sort of seasons experience. You do get the weather, so in the winter you do get the snow, in the summer you do get the heat, in the spring and autumn it's potluck what weather you get, and whether you get a lot of rain and stuff like that. But basically, doing this cultivating contract is going to allow me basically just to pay that worker who's been ploughing that field for the whole day so far. So definitely, one of our goals will be, by obviously once we get everything planted and we're progressing for the second season, for the second year, we want to be able to upgrade the plough. We want to make enough money in this first year that we can upgrade the plough and get something that's going to be a bit more useful. Maybe upgrade the tractor as well, because the 8R with only 290 horsepower is a little bit on the feeble side, and it would be nice, I imagine, to have a proper American style 8R. Maybe the as I say, the custom modding one. I do have them installed, although I have been hearing a lot of weird things just lately, that they don't work too well with Courseplay. The 9RX and stuff like that doesn't work with Courseplay too well. And one of the things about that is they reckon the vehicle that turns quite. Just doing a bit of a feedback on a issue on the Courseplay GitHub. hey, we almost get the get this field done. Collect the contract. That pays the wages for the guy we've had operating the plough all day. Oh, it's not really going to add us anything new. Well, there are ways we can make some money. As I say, the grass is probably the next thing I'm going to be seriously looking at. We may want to get a mower of some sort. Get the grass mowed when it allows us. I think with 3-day seasons, the grass should be mowable almost, I think, second day of spring, which would be nice. Get all out, because we've got 3 fields, so get them mowed, get them baled. It takes some bales just as grass, just for the quick money intake, straight to like the BGA. Whilst I then look at getting a wrapper to wrap the other bales, because obviously the wrapped bales take a couple of days to ferment and turn into silage, so you've got to wait a period. You've got to wait a couple of season transitions. So if I was to mow bales on the second day of spring and wrap them, they wouldn't be silage until the first day of summer. Which is obviously a bit of a period of time to wait. But then obviously as silage they bring in more money. So is it worth waiting 2 days? Probably, most definitely, I would say. The price difference between just delivering grass to the BGA and actually giving them silage is quite substantial. I've also just done a quick test there of the collision physics on objects, because I noticed on this map there are some fields where they have pylons and stuff in the field, and unfortunately they do have collisions. Now that can sometimes be a deal breaker for some people, whether they play a map. They don't like having things stuck in the middle of the field that they can get equipment stuck on, and that, you know, the workers are going to have massive problems dealing with. So if you've not played this map yet and you kind of sat on the fence wondering whether to play it or not, and you're the kind of person that thinks, I don't like poles in the middle of fields that I can't drive through, this map probably isn't for you, because the poles do have collisions. Okay, we'll bring the cultivator back to the farm, we'll park it up. I'll tell you one thing I do notice, the custom grass texture that he's using on this map does look very weird. I'm not sure if I can get used to that grass texture. It doesn't really look like grass to me. It's got more of a clovery sort of look to it or something. You know? Very weird. Very, very weird. But noticing, as I'm recording this, I'm getting really, really high and crazy temperatures on my PC. I know it's a bit humid today, but sat here just recording an audio commentary, my PC shouldn't be rocking up at 70 odd degrees. Bit overkill. But then again, it is kind of humid and muggy today. It's a bit weird. I think it's going to rain at some point. Put the aircon on for a bit just to change the room temperature a bit, which means I'll probably have to do that between recording the commentary for the 4th part of the stream. I've kind of, as I say, I've broken these videos up into hour-long segments to make it a little bit easier for people to watch, and also for me to re-upload, as opposed to just exporting one stream video from Twitch to YouTube, which I've done this morning with another stream I did yesterday, which was a Factorio live stream for about 6 hours. Unfortunately, was interrupted a little bit by the fact I had to go out. I had to leave my house twice during the stream. So I just put the be right back screen on for probably half an hour at a time whilst I went out. The second time I went out at about 4:45 time in real life, that took a lot longer. The traffic at that time in town, as I was trying to drive across town to pick my father up, who had been to a football match, was a lot more difficult than when I dropped him off at like 2:20. And there's Mr. Plough. Yeah. I wonder if he would. This field have been ploughed. The guy would have ploughed this field quicker had we had a more powerful tractor. I don't know whether the plough's not brilliant. I know I keep banging on about the crappy size of the plough, but I also wonder if the tractor armed with that plough is also not very good. We'll also probably look at, like I say, it might get to the point where I actually get fed up of waiting for this guy to finish ploughing this field, so I might just jump ahead, do a bit of developer console magic to get the field finished off. We've shown we know how to plough a field and we know how to lime spread a field, so actually sitting there for 20 hours doing one field probably isn't going to be all that beneficial. I've given you the gist of what it requires. You may skip ahead. The last thing I would want is to be playing 3-day seasons and not be actually able to plant a field. And not get a field planted in the first year because it's took the guy too long. Anyway, we'll get the field lime spreaded. I'll carry on now ahead of the plough. I can't wait all day for the plough to finish before spreading the lime, so I might as well just chuck that down sort of now and be done. Get our interrogator used up. Probably gonna have to buy some more lime. I'm nearly out. That's not a good sign either, is it? I've almost run out of lime. More expense. Especially when I'm very nearly close to finishing the field. It's going to run out of lime on me. There we go, we've run out. We've run out. Right, back to the farm. Refill. That'll be another several grand money just flying out of our account. Don't know whether I bought. Oh, I'm not sure whether to fill this all the way up or not. Or whether just to cap it off early. I don't know whether I need a full machine load of lime. We'll fill it. We've got a sprayer for spraying fertiliser, so it's not like I need to empty this again and then refill it with solid fertiliser, so I can keep this just purely as being a lime machine, a lime wagon. It's a shame the mod can't do salt. That would have been awesome as well, if it could have done salt. So you could have used it in the winter for salt spreading. That would have made that this mod even more useful than it currently is. Okay, lime prices are not actually that bad on the map, to be fair. Lime's not as expensive as I thought it was. I mean, that cost me just over £5 to fill up the whole machine. Terrible. I've clearly gone AFK at this point for some reason. Trying to remember what I was doing when I streamed this, why I disappeared AFK. I was probably doing something on forums or GitHub or something to do with mods. I was looking at something, looking up stuff all the time. Anyway, we'll get the field lined. The plough still hasn't made masses of progress in that time. I've had to step away to go and get lime. But actually, he's not made any progress. Kind of seems to have stopped. Again, like he's having issues. I think the worker is having the issues. He's got brain worms, that's what it is. Right there. We're going to go and rescue the plough, I think. Because the worker's just not cutting it, is he? He's just not up to the standard we've come to expect. He stopped. He thinks he's finished. I can tell you now, son, you ain't finished. By a long, long way. He may have got confused because of the headlands I'd done. But we'll see. I can't believe how long it's taken to do this field. I was expecting this to have been done long ago. We've nearly worked through the first day and we still haven't finished this field. Of course, I'm not using the fine timescale mod either. That's not in the mod folder. So when it comes to actually advancing time, I have very limited options available to me. I've either got real time or I've got 5 times. It's like real time 5 times, 15 times. And I don't know, I think 5 times is maybe just a little bit too quick for some of the fields for 3-day seasons. And at the same time, 5 times is probably a little bit slow if you're playing 6-day seasons. But then at the same time, 15 times speed is probably too fast unless you're playing sort of 9 or 12-day seasons. And I don't know who the crazy people are who play 24-day seasons, or what maps they're playing on that supports 24-day seasons. Because I can't imagine there's that much work to do on a standard or even a 4X map that you would need to play 24-day seasons. Unless you own the whole map and every single field, you know. Like if you had like county lines and own the whole map from the get-go, and you were responsible for doing all the work on every field, then even then I would think 24-day seasons was probably too much. Too much. Unless you're playing at some really crazy, like I say, time scale. 30 times or something like that, maybe. Anyway, we'll get this done. Like I say, this field is probably going to be barley, I think. Purely because we can use that to feed the chickens, and also we get the straw. Although, looking at the weather, how long it's taken to plough this field, I might switch and do barley on field 32 or whatever it is. There's a couple of little spots here and there where he's missed, so I really need to go and clean those up before I forget. Yeah, I suppose I could get the barley planted then on the field 32, because that could be planted now, and that field's ready to be planted. And then once I've ploughed this field and got it to whatever stage it's at, I can put the switch and put the soybeans on this field. There's that option, I suppose. Trying to work out where the spots are on the map and where they actually are on the field, because I'm struggling to actually see the bits that he's missed. Now I've lime spread, it's even harder to see the tiny little stalky bits. Like I've got them. Spots a bit further up the map that I need to have a look at, maybe. Actually putting my headlights on there, see if that helps me see, because it's starting to get dark. It's starting to get dark on the map. Over here, so I'll just best do this. One of the things I do notice is with these fields being close together, like they are, very little space between them, I wonder if there would be issues anyway on this map using workers. where they do that thing where they hop across field borders and start working the wrong fields. I could see that being a thing. One of the things I will not do though is be ploughing through the night. As soon as it gets dark I will sleep, because I do appreciate the fact that at night it's very difficult for people to see what's going on in the videos. Honestly, it's very difficult for the person playing the game to see what's going on at night, because the lighting in this game at night is atrocious. The new lighting system that Giants implemented for FS19, it's great during the day, but at night you can't see what you're doing, and the headlights on the vehicles are worthless. They offer so little penetration and illumination in the dark that you can't see what you're doing. You can't see more than a couple of feet in front of your tractor or machine or whatever it is you're doing. So yeah, I won't be doing a lot of night farming, you'll be pleased to hear. Which is why, as I say, the timescale thing's a bit of an issue, because obviously I need to maximise my productivity during daylight hours as best I can. So I might slow the timescale down during the day so I can get as much work done as possible while I've got the light. And then obviously fast forward then between daylight hours. So again, we're just ploughing around the headland at this point, because there were some bits that weren't ploughed originally. Again, that's due in part to the slightly dodgy edges on these maps. Some of these very strange custom design text edges that authors are now starting to put on fields can actually be a little bit weird, because where the actual field starts and stops is not quite as clear. So sometimes you have to really overlap off the field to make sure you get every spot of the field done. Again, it's the reason why on county lines I went round with the terrain tool and actually removed a lot of the field edges. Really, you know, brought the field edges in and then just went round with the plough to put, just to smooth out the edges anyway, because obviously when you use the terrain tool, if you're not working in sort of 90-degree angles, you get saw-toothed edges on the map in game. The terrain tool is not very good at moving in angles. Like I say, if you have the square tool, it's good for moving left and right and up and down on a map. It's not good for moving diagonally, and the round tool doesn't actually make very smooth paths and tracks anyway. Again, that does the same. When you start moving with the round tool in a straight line, you get the sawtoothed aspect. Especially when you go to bigger radiuses. Generally, when I'm painting terrain, I paint bigger than I intend to, and then I go around with the plough. At least the plough then can get rid of the sawtoothed edges and just tidy and neaten it up a fraction. Quite a bit. Yeah, you see, that's not. That's actually quite. If I had a bigger plough, if I had the 6 metre plough or the 10 metre plough, I would actually be in danger of running. You know, if I didn't do a couple of headlands on this field first, I would be in terrible danger of driving onto the next field whilst trying to actually plough this one. Move the plough over. So that's why I'm kind of putting, because if I want the worker to work left to right on this field, I'm not sure if I'm going to actually, I don't know if I'm going to return him to working left to right, or whether I'm going to have him now ploughing in this direction. But I need to make a good headland down this edge so he doesn't jump across and plough up my grass field. The last thing I would want is for the worker to plough up my grass. As I say, I would be hoping to mow that tomorrow and start making some money. Probably why this guy is still ploughing. So yeah, it's probably going to be important on this map to do headlands and do a good sizable headland. Not just do a quick once round and done. Actually, you know, maybe do 2 or 3 in some cases, depending on the size of the tool. Because that should detract and prevent any workers from wandering onto fields that they're not supposed to be on. Because certainly from when I played in my first ever Let's Play series for Farm Sim 19, when I played on Estancia Lapacho, the workers were very difficult to keep on the field they were supposed to be on when the fields were so close together with like just a single track separating fields. You know, in that main area on that map where you had fields 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those fields, that area, the workers just loved going off and doing their own thing. Working the wrong fields, ploughing up fields that you got crop growing on, and and seeding crop on fields that you had already seeded with a different crop, and oh, it was a nightmare. Birds chirping away quite nicely in the game there, obviously enjoying the early evening as night slowly descends upon our first day here on Lolo. As I say, once I'm in a position to sleep through the night, I will do. I won't force people to experience night farming. So as soon as my HUD turns green, I'll return to the house and find the sleep trigger and advance the clock. Eating some pepperami jerky. It's quite nice. Obviously, for the non-UK or British people watching this video who are probably wondering what pepperami is, for the Americans, I'd probably say it's probably close to being what you call a Slim Jim. Basically like a meat snack. Like a long, thin pencil-sized shaped meat snack. We don't have them like ridiculous, like you know, several feet long like you guys do. Ours are probably 10 inches at most. They've actually got smaller over the years. as you know, economic prices have gone up everywhere. Companies make the product smaller but keep the price the same. You're paying more for less now. Really hard getting rid of these little corners on fields. Especially when you drive a line like that and don't actually take anything off of the field. One of the reasons why I hate these angled ploughs, I don't think I'm very efficient at driving them. I tend to plough too much of the land that's already been ploughed and not enough of the field that needs ploughing. Right now, a lot of that plough is actually useless because it's just going over ground that's already been done. Even if I had the GPS mod installed, it wouldn't solve my problem. Because obviously I would have to deal with all the offset stuff as well, and I'm bad at that. You have to remember the offset each time you change direction, plus you have to rotate the plough. All becomes much weirder. It's getting dark, too dark to see. I wish there was lights on this map. Big, powerful spotlights. Although I must admit, with seasons, when you do get the sunsets at night and the dawn breaking in the morning, it is quite nice how the lighting does change. Not just like, you know, a light switch that somebody switches on and let there be light or let there be darkness. There's a lot more of a gradual shift from one, you know, gradual transition. You do get some very nice colours appearing. Go for subsoiler wise, that thing intrigues me. I've not used that. I wonder if I should get one of them just for use on this. Again, use something I've never used before, might make it a little bit interesting. Trouble is, again, it's alright saying, oh yeah, let's get that subsoiler and put it to work, but unfortunately we would then need a tractor as well, and suddenly that doesn't become very cost effective. You know, we end up spending more money than we needed it to. Right, I'm going to plough across here now. Let's try and take out this corner. Turn past. Surprised the hood hasn't changed to green yet to tell me it's dark night time, because it's fairly dark now. I would have expected the old indicator to come up so I could go and sleep. Double headland or double line here just to make sure, again, if I do hire an AI worker, he will stop. He will see this as the stopping point, because I could still get him to work up and down and do the main bulk of the field and then just leave me to tidy up these corner bits after the effect, after the event. Wait and see. Another quick spin round, do another row. Let's work along this bottom edge this time. Rotate the plough to make it easier to keep an eye on where you are ploughing. And it is now very, very dark. Who's now someone suddenly turning out the lights? I really am surprised though that, as I say, it's not showing that I can sleep yet. I would have thought at this point in time I would be able to return to the house and sleep, but the HUD in the top right of the screen where you've got the time and everything, the money and everything, is still white. So that tells me that it still thinks it's daytime. I will just have to carry on for a little bit at the minute. Because you can't sleep unless it's night time. If you try going to the house, it will tell you that you're not tired. You do not need to sleep, you are not tired. Whoa, wait a minute, whoa. Okay, you can apparently drive through that part of the fence. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that to be drivable. Would have thought that. How has that not got collisions on it?